Okay, so last few things, just basically to get the site kind of completely prepared. You might notice that, and I haven't figured out why, but it appears that there's no really great glass material in Enscape. So you're gonna have to count on. I mean, it has glass, but it is. It shows up just with frosted. I think I'm not sure if it's because they feel like glass is really easy to create, or what. But there's just a bunch of these frosted pieces. So anyway, we're going to talk about what we can do. We're just basically going to use the Revit material. You might notice mine looks different than yours. I found that what I was getting was kind of a browny, cloudy. I mean, it's clear, but it just kind of has a kind of a brown reflective. And if we look at the site, you notice that it has that kind of lead in it. Glass typically has a lead in the material of the glass, which gives it a green cast. You can get it out, but that's the more expensive glass. So anyway, I don't want to belabor kind of making this look exactly like the site, but I think there's certain things that we want to kind of get to the at least dialed in a little bit. So to do that, I just clicked on one of these glass panels that I could get to a glazed system, and then I'm just going to edit what I used, and I'll just show you what I'm doing, and I'll show you a couple other things that might be cool for you to explore, not for the existing building, but as you're designing. It'll allow you to either use this as an idea or make sure you don't do it when you don't want it. Okay, so we have glazing. I'm just using a clear glazing. I've modified a lot of these various colors. I'm going to just show you kind of what the results were. So if I change this back to, I think it was white or close to white, you'll see that on the that tinting has gone away. Okay. All right. Well, it's maybe not exactly what I wanted to do in the end, but let's see what some other things do. You might notice this transmissive color. This is pretty cool. I tested this to see what that would give me as far as the look. So I'm going to kind of give it kind of that green tint. And you might notice then on here it's starting to have kind of a little bit of that going on. A little harder to see. But let's go inside. You'll notice that there is a little bit of that color coming through, and just to exaggerate it, I'm just going to go to something really extreme and apply it. So remember, this is transmissive color, so this is the color that's coming through the glass, and any light coming through the glass is going to take on this transmissive color. So I think it's pretty cool. It's definitely not what you would tend to want to do for your architecture, because it's going to completely, it's like wearing rose-colored glasses. It's going to completely affect every material you choose, every color of paint, everybody's their color of their skin and everything else. So I would stay away from the transmissive unless there's a place where you're going, hey, this actually would be cool and I want to create this kind of mood. And so you can see once I got it back to white, we're getting kind of really clear colors going through. So then to get that kind of reflected green look, I went to the advanced highlight controls and I just kind of tweaked this, and I'm pretty satisfied with kind of where it went. You can see on here that looks pretty good. This looks a little much, so maybe go a little bit more toned down, desaturate it a little bit. Yeah, it's somewhere in there. It looks like what's on the street. we should go inside, make sure that, yeah, it's nothing's then coming through. It still has that tone, but it's not transmitting that tone into the building. So anyway, the other things that I've done that you would want to know about. Another thing that's kind of nice at this point, is go into Materials, and you can do what's called Show Unused. And if you do run that, then you can get rid of, I think I've already done it, but it'll like have a plethora of materials that you can select and delete. You know, don't do this lightly, because essentially it's going to get rid of anything that Revit just kind of automatically put in here. But I feel with Enscape as another armature, you're going to have a lot better luck with that. So then the only other thing you might think about, because you can edit these both in Revit, but you can also do it in Enscape. Most of them, for some reason, glass isn't editable. I don't understand that. The ones that you've created, if you haven't already, you might just kind of give it a signature of that. That's definitely one that you've messed with. Just so that you can find it pretty quickly. So I mean, like this brick, this came from Enscape, I think, and so maybe I want to rename it, you know, DA or something like that. And so then when you go into Enscape, Enscape Material Edit, you can go in here and you'll be able to find it pretty easily. But again, I don't know why glass is not showing up. I don't see it. It's weird. The other thing that I noticed when doing this, and you guys might already know it because you've been working with this in Rhino, and I just don't use Enscape as much as I would like, is that you can go in here and you can replace with an Enscape material. So once you click on that, it'll bring up all the materials, and then you can decide like what, I don't know, what earth looks like. That would have been nice to know before. If I knew exactly what, you know, concrete I was using in different places, I could have, instead of changing it multiple places multiple times, I could have like just said, oh, concrete cast in place. That should be something in here. So concrete, maybe this concrete 03. So I'm just going to replace it. And so everywhere that's been tagged, it replaces it. So kind of nice, as long as you know what it is that the material you're looking for, it might be a nice work. Another thing that you might notice on my site, if we look around a little bit, we have some of these, just a few of the pieces that define the street lights, and things like that, even fire plug. Those are easy to find, and you probably know this as well as I do. I mean, you have that asset library, and it's actually growing. It seems like growing every day. So just look for you know, those street props, and you know, have fun with it. You know, don't put anything. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you can throw an Easter egg in there too. But I just grabbed a few of the pieces so that I also, you might notice, I threw in just if there's a couple buildings like next door that might be in some renderings of some kind of outdoor scene, it may be worth just throwing a few of these buildings that look, you know, relatively similar to kind of the detritus of architecture that might be in a city. So you might think about that. It's pretty easy. You just kind of drag it over to your scene. It's going to give you a message that I'm trying to drag over right now, that is placing that building into your Revit. And then once it's in here, you can rotate it. Once it's been placed, you can move it around. So I'm just going to say okay, and then kind of deal with this thing being in the middle of my street. Yeah, there you go. It's right there. Alright, so I'll just move it over and then rotate it. So it's just basically becomes an object like any other object. And what I'm going to do is just kind of make sure that it shows up just in front of and I don't know if that's the best building, but you can see that it fills in pretty quickly. Kind of makes it, at least some of the things I'm going to be rendering on the street, just feel like it's a little bit more present. It doesn't go to this kind of massing context. Alright, cool.